Answer me. Why are you doing this? There's absolutely nothing you can hope to gain out of this.
Au contraire. I am doing all this for your sake, Rubidoux.
For my sake?
Have you forgotten, Rubidoux? That fateful day 14 years ago? Have you forgotten what you did to us? It's all because of you. Because you closed yourself off from us. Our mental link was broken, and one after another, we succumbed to the power of the song. Left behind in that horror. Did we have any choice but to submit to it? Remember what happened, and repent for your sin!
It's true, I mean...
So you finally admit to it, you coward!
All right! Damn it! I couldn't control my fear! Junior.
Yes! And therefore, you must atone for your sins. Atone with your life. I am the executor for all those who were destroyed. Although, I'm actually grateful to you, Rubidoux. Thanks to you, I alone was able to find the way to a whole new world.
What do you mean, a whole new world?
That's all that I seek. It's quite simple. Don't you think?
What the hell are you talking about?
At first, I wasn't sure if I should believe, but I experienced something a moment ago that confirmed it. And this ought to verify that experience for me. Entertain me, if you will.
Fuse the Gnosis with the reactor?
You must first destroy this in order to stop Proto-Merkaba. You do realize that... Oh, almost forgot the time. Not much left now. I'd say 5 minutes at best. I wonder how far you'll get in your current condition.
He's tormenting Junior just for fun.
Farewell. I'm sure we'll meet again if you survive. Rubidoux, my other half.
Albedo!
Junior, look out!
Destroy this thing first.
Right. This takes priority.
Be careful, everyone. That's no longer just a machine.
All right. Let's do it, Cosmos. Affirmative. Switching to maximum output for all combat systems.
Oh, that looks like a final boss arena. Oh, it's a different theme. Okay. Oh, it didn't fully heal me. It's a 2-phase final boss, so that was phase 1. I have no friggin' ether. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, time to save state. Huh. Well. About that. Yeah, it would have been nice. Do you know what would have also been nice? A save point after the elevator. That means if you lose the final boss, you have to redo the elevator and all the enemies there, run past or fight the enemies leading up to Albedo, fight Albedo all the way over again, and then fight the final boss all the way over again. I am really, really glad I'm playing this on emulator and not original hardware. Again, I was debating about it. I own the game. It would have been fun and novel to play it on my PS2, but I would have genuinely rage quit if I was playing this on my PS2. Yeah, that would have been really good. I get you. Well, now that I know for sure it's the final boss, I'm not gonna hold back on the things that I use anymore. Okay, let's use all these items that I can't buy from the shop and have who knows how many. Ooh, that does 50. Okay. Let's see here. Everybody needs one of those, I think. Time to use all the shit I've been saving for like ever here. Okay. Everyone gets their ether back. Well, yeah, here we are. Column of light. I Dragon looking. You freaking crit me! I guess it is the crit turn. Oh my god. I really wish that I came into this fight fully healed. Oh. Time to start handing out some boosts and maybe start using them. But yeah. If only. If this game was peak. Here, literally just to do this so I can use Medica Rest. I could use that Medkit DX. I don't actually know how much they heal. It would have saved me 4 ether. What it would have done. Well, we're also now printing the final piece of the Mega Land trophy. Mystery health. Good. Let's just get into a really safe position before we think about doing anything else here. So I'm gonna wait a while before I do damage. Let's get into like a super safe position first and foremost. This is what I'm gonna do. Okay. Let's see here. Sure. Yeah, this background sure is something, huh? Kind of hard to hear. You want me to turn it up? I worry about the game being too loud during cutscenes, and then I turn stuff down. I can turn it to like here is what I can do. Okay. Now we just hand out boosts for a little while. Actually, maybe I do this too. Oh, I should have done the speed first and foremost, is what I should have done. Silly me. Okay. Medica Rest on Junior, please. I assume this boss is gonna get crazier as it goes on, so this is like potentially my only opportunity, the beginning of the battle, to be building up safety. Okay, as long as it's not making me hard to hear, then that's good. Here, for Shion. But yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Swarm. Okay. Painful, but not unmanageable. Give Cosmos a boost. And then maybe she'll start attacking during boost turns. Maybe. Start buffing some more speed in a moment here. Okay, for Junior, please. Do this. Ah, my nose. Why do I have to be getting so sick here right at the end, huh? Why, oh why? Okay, yeah, I'm getting lots of turns. The boss is not. That is fantastic. Keep on handing out boosts for now. Keep on handing them out, please. Okay. Yeah, safety net. Give me a safety net here. Hopefully the boss doesn't have any abilities that, like, gets rid of all my special statuses or anything. Because that would suck if so. It would take away a decent bit of my safety net. Not all of it. It's not like it would take away my boosts. But it would take away a decent bit of my safety net if the boss did that. Okay. They're now like 1 or 2 smidges. There, like that. Swarm again. Really likes going after Junior for whatever reason here. Okay, it keeps on being on the crit turn here. Okay. You won't need a second boost. You can go ahead and build that up naturally, shortly. Give Shion a second boost. You can even get her up to a 3rd boost. It's not like she's going to be building up boosts in the back row otherwise. So may as well get her up to 3. That's what we may as well do. Can Junior survive another one? I kind of want to hand out more of these. I'm going to have to get up my ether now. But I'm handing out more things. Okay. You can heal now. And out of curiosity, I have a lot of these DX ones. I only have 1 max one. If you use a DX one on yourself, how much does it heal? But yeah, it sure does. Okay, 300. Oh, that'll be enough to keep me alive for now. So let's see here. I can go ahead and, my speed boost is gone, so let's go ahead and do this so I get more turns. Yeah, it wouldn't be Octo. Yeah, that panel's coming along fast. Swarm, going after Cosmos this time, it looks like. Oh, frick, he crit me. Crit turn. Okay. I do have to, be using these. Methinks. Well, sure. It's just extra points, so who cares? Let's see here. So then, get Shion to her 3rd boost. Like that. Okay. And then, how about you go ahead and say, do this. Methinks. Should hopefully make it so that Cosmos doesn't get killed if she gets hit one more time, at least. Okay. Crit up. I keep wanting her to be able to act during the boost turn. But, yeah. I guess I can start doing damage or something here. I have a decent safety net built up. It's not fully built up yet. In fact, I'm probably going to use all of these here. So here, use this on yourself. But yeah. Is it now? Here, do that. And then I can go ahead and give the extra safety net to Junior. Watch the boss do a thing that just undoes all this. Junior should be able to survive 2 lethal things then. So he'll be like super safe. It'll be great. Okay, and then we're putting on all the things. I am not messing around if this is the final boss. Get me into an ultra safe position. Palm of Light E. Wow, that was like nothing. Okay, so I have my safety net here for the most part. I could build up more of a safety net just by like getting more ether. And in fact, I think I will. Just give me like the biggest safety net possible here. Make sure that I'm good for the long haul. It's better to use these things now than have to use a whole bunch of them later. So everyone has, like, the save on revive thingamabob. Everyone has speed up. Yeah, so I don't need to use any more of that around. I can color change there in a sec. Yeah, so now we start doing stuff like this. Wow. Don't mind me just changing the colors on this. Junior's turn. Okay. Take out the orange. So then on Junior's turn, he's gonna... You still have speed? He still has speed. Everyone has speed here, so he doesn't exactly have to do that. So... Steal from the final boss. Because it's funny. Yo, I got something? Damn. Okay. Let's see here. Load filament. And then... Maybe I just start doing damage. Maybe. Sure, tell you what. That's enough safety net for now. I'm gonna save state here now that I have the safety net and I'm ready to start trying. Blast, blast, bust. Pliers.
Charging.
Let's see. Okay. Did some good damage this turn. Sweet. Swarm. Yeah, so he takes off pretty decent chunks of my health. Let's see here. Oh, may as well. It'll prevent Junior from being killed from here. And Cosmos gets a decent bit of health as well. So may as well. Is it just me or does Junior heal more with Medica All? He heals 400. Or am I going crazy here? Cosmos is out of speed boost, so refresh that. And now I'm gonna start actually boosting on important turns for her. Ah! My nose! Why you do this, huh? Alright, time for damage, I think. Unless your speed ran out. Your speed did run out. In which case, may as well increase my DPS. Ah! Okay. Here we go. Alright. Now Shion's turn. No one needs an immediate heal. So I'm gonna take a moment to help future-proof us a little bit. This is what I'm gonna do, I think. Sophie Pythos is the final boss's name. Ooh, and this is naturally the boost turn. Pew pew bust. Give me more boosts. And I can boost myself for the crit turn or something. Is what I can do. Time to start doing damage. Sophie will be the final boss's nickname here. Junior. Yeah, figured it'd be Junior. Okay. Alright. Yeah, you have all your things. Everyone has lots of things. So just go ahead and say... Damage, man. Damage. Let's see here. Thing's almost done. I'm almost out of silver filament. Good thing I don't need very much. Ooh, crit up this turn. Sweet. Alright, go ahead and blast bust.
Charging.
Let's see here. Next turn is boost turn. Give it to Junior. Pliers. Okay. Okay. That's almost done. It's gonna finish in, you know, probably like 20 seconds here. It's just doing 2 layers of, like, a little bit of text. So, oh. I had the Pythos on the mind. I forgot that the boss's first name was literally Sophie. Legal name there. Alright. Pew, Last Symphony. Let's see how much Junior can do. Pew, 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 pew. Okay, not as much as Cosmos, but he does some good damage too. It's definitely the case. Medic Arrest on Junior here. Here we go. Okay, maybe I was overly generous by saying 20 seconds, but it's about to finish. Is the thing. There we go. Look, what I tell you. Okay, so like... Now... Pew... Buster. Save the 3 for next turn, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so like... Boost turn. Sure, give it to Cosmos. Be a freebie turn for her. Alright, no one needs immediate healing. Or anything. So take this turn to just like... Do this, how about? Nah, I'll figure it out. Once it gets within a range, I'm sure it'll tell me. Will be the case. Will it stand out? Or should I do a different version with different colors, I wonder here. I don't know how I feel about the orange. I don't know. Let's see. Like, I could just do gold. I could do a purple one. I could absolutely do one with that, like, purple black back. And surely the red and the silver here will pop out enough on it. Oh, a little bit of loose filament there. There. Mario Kart World, HoloLand 2025. Like that. I don't know. I mean, you sort of see it. So I'm not going to slot it in for real, because once I do, I'll never be able to take it out. I mean, maybe that works. They've got, like, the red on the sides. Maybe. So then you'll have the... Boop. This thing here. And then once the star is in, it'll look something like this with the orange. Do I like the orange? It kind of plays into the orange here. But I don't know. Maybe. You think so? Think it's good like that? It'd save me a print not having to redo it. Ah. Falling apart here. This can be our HoloLand 2025 trophy once I paint the eyes of the star and glue everything together here. And then next weekend, a lucky winner will be taking that home. Morning, Reggie Bump. Welcome to the final boss of this game. Blast, blast, bust. Pew. Yep. That's Junior. He likes his guns. He does very much like his guns. Let's try to give you the crit turn next time. Oh, you crit anyway. Sweet. What? Oh. A.G.W.S. Only 1,200 health. Okay, that's not too bad. Oh, and you can't attack the final boss until you do that. Okay, I gotcha. Cosmos could use some speed. She has so many boosts. Let's boost her just for her to give herself speed again. A.G.W.S. But yeah, has summons. Well, let's see how much damage this does. Oh, he's defending, damn it. This is the previous boss? No, this is the final boss. This is what this is. Ooh, crit up turn. But, you know, speed boost, whatever. Ooh. Boost turn, may as well. You, whoops. Whatever. I miscounted my AP. Okay, look at that. With lots of speed around. My other allies could use speed up again, though. Alright, let's see here. How about we go ahead and now... Blast, blast, bust. This'll kill. I didn't even need to bust. Whoops. I could have saved that. Oh, well, whoops. It's not that big a deal. Yeah, it kind of clips into Shion there. Or Shion kind of blocks the camera. Okay. If only you could boost our speed. I guess you can with items, but like... Yeah, no one needs the extra safety net. Isn't really that much of a heal that's needed right now. We're kind of okay. Time to hop into my eggs! How many speed things will I have anyway? One speed stem. Let's not use that then. How about? I guess if I need to, I can do this. Here, crit turn. I could have done it the other way. I'm realizing Junior first and then... No, I couldn't because I wouldn't be able to boost with him there. Here, just Blast Buster. Oh, and now Junior's getting the boost turn when, he can't even really make use of that. Damn. What's wrong with me? Oh, well. I have a partial meter there. Here, just pew pew Last Symphony. Yeah, I kind of misplayed my turns a little bit there. Oh, well. Oh, well. At least there was some good damage there. All the pews. Okay. Some damage. I don't have a partial thing anymore. Okay, well. Blast Bust. Do the full string when it's during a thing that I care about more, I guess. The boss will get the Nothing Burger turn, and then I'm going to give Cosmos, or I guess Junior, the crit turn, and then Cosmos can have the boost turn. Damn you. Whatever. Well, may as well in the meantime, right? Then I do more boosts, get more damage. I need to actually be using my boost more. I keep on not. Well. Oh, what? I assume that's a reference to a thing there. Oh god, good thing I do AoE attacks. Okay. So, like... Boop, boop, bust. Like this. I would boost here, but you're boosting. Guess that means I'll boost on the crit turn, and it'll be with Cosmos. Wouldn't be able to boost with Junior here, because Junior's about to act. Okay. Look, that's a 1 down. This guy's about to go down. So let's see here. 170. Okay. And then, yeah, Last Symphony. Marvel characters. Yeah, I figured probably Marvel characters, but, here, do this. Boost Cosmos into the crit turn. Okay. Oh, we're in the visible HP time now. 76, 74. I thought I saved the thing specifically. Oh, well. Just Blast Bust. Listening to the main battle theme and this final battle theme, which would you say you prefer? I mean, probably this one, just because violin's my favorite instrument. It is really cool and really awesome, but this one is a pretty basic loop as well, so I can see how this can get, like, tiresome fast, too. It's kind of the downside of it. Okay. Pew. Also, this final boss hasn't been super challenging so far. Albedo has been, like, way tougher so far in comparison. Am I gonna get his health down and then he's gonna have another phase or something? Because this feels too easy. Something's wrong. You have boost to use, so just friggin' use it, man. Especially when, you know, Shion isn't sure what else to do. Basic loop, but at least it's different. It is. And it does feel rather climactic. I will admit. Okay, crit turn for you. Okay, pew pew. Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, I guess so, but I was just thinking if this had another phase, is all I'm saying. You could argue that this is phase 2. But what if it had a phase 3 then, you know? Blast, blast, bust. The classic combo of this game. Well, the classic combo I set up. You can make your combos whatever you want. And this is what I decide my bust combo would be. Nice. Yeah, I gotta be using these points, man. Look at this. I'll get another boost out of it. So this is essentially free damage. Yeah, and then it's the regular battle theme again. Yeah, you're right. That would be pretty funny. I do admit. That would be quite the prank. He's gonna use Grifter from DC as he does primarily use dual pistols for offense, but I'd be the only one who knew who the Grifter was. Sounds like it'd be the name of like a McDonald's character or something. Ratatosk. Well, what the heck can I do for support here right now, huh? Like, I could move Shion to the front, but like, then I'm scared that the boss is gonna do something actually scary. And like, I'm comfortable here. You know, I'm not at any risk of dying, so it's okay and stuff. How about I go ahead and do this?
Good.
Go ahead and restore some of my EP. There we go. Okay, crit up. Yeah, blast bust. Like this. Junior's gonna get a full boost. Yeah, I gotta be using my boost more. Oh, that even hits the boss. In that case, I should go for my AoE one instead of my single target one. If I can still target the boss. I think that's what I'm gonna do. It's time for coins. Gotta blast. Well. Whoops, did I get them mixed up? Oh no, that is my AoE one, yeah. Coins, I'm thinking of another one. Oh, it's a bug. Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah. That's why I said, gotta blast. Okay, now you actually do need to heal us a little bit. Okay, boost turn. I don't know, give it to Cosmos. She'll do more damage as well anyway. What is the two that aren't Cosmos been debuffed with? He'll die to the blast anyway, so start doing more damage on this guy here. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was struggling more with the boss just before the final boss. That makes me think that there's gonna be something more here. Is what I'm kind of thinking. That's what I'm a little worried about. Oh, that wasn't actually enough on that one, dude. Dang. But you're right, I was thinking the same thing. And that makes me a little bit worried that there's gonna be more crazy stuff. They're all stat abnormalities. I had a feeling you might do something like that. Yeah. I had a feeling that would happen later in the fight, but we are getting close. Okay, save state. Let's see here. Let's, maybe both. Like, the last boss was actually challenging me. The one that we did right before this actually had some challenge to it, but this one, not so much. And I'm very confused. Oh, man. I'm real sick here. Yeah, do I want the orange background? Or does it make it hard to see Hallowland? I don't know. It kind of plays into the orange of above, so I kind of like that. Maybe I will stick with it. This boost up is going to get wasted. Here, pew. Pew. Stormwall. That's the coin one. Boosting. Apparently the average level for this game is early 30s. You're mid 30s. I'm like 34, I think. Something like that. If memory serves here. Okay, I gotta just start using these boosts because they're just going to waste otherwise. Yeah, so there's no point putting these things back on because they're just gonna get wiped again each time. Oh. Oh, wow. Okay. Huh. Okay, well. Do this. Pew. Okay, the boss is actually starting to boost more. Starting to do a little bit of scarier things. Ether attack down. Okay. Here, just do this. These things will kill you. In fact, I probably could have done my single shot on the boss just because this attack would kill you anyway. Then I chip away more at the boss. I gotta use my boost, man. They're going to waste otherwise. Wait. I thought there was still like 1,000 something health to the boss. Wait, how much damage did I just do? Wait. I wasted my boost, didn't I? Okay, now next phase.
there quickly!
What was that rumbling?
More explosions?
No. It's faint. But it feels like we're changing directions.
Xion, I have confirmation of ignition in the Proto-Merkaba's propulsion units. It is descending towards 2nd Miltia now.
Well then, let's just see how powerful you all are.
Cosmos, are you sure?
Yes. Should its descent continue at present speed, it will enter the atmosphere in approximately 8 minutes.
Looks like he planned this from the very beginning.
That bastard. He's got too many tricks up his sleeve.
We have to do something. If something as large as this impacts at full speed, 2nd Miltia will be...
Based on the current angle of approach, breaking up the facility into approximately 28,000 pieces would result in 99.6% of them vaporizing before impact.
If we detach each subcompartment?
Just a second. I'll search through my memory banks. Control room. The control room on level 33 will allow us to detach the facility.
Hurry! There's no time!
Oh no!
Is there a problem?
The entire process from system startup to complete detachment takes 1 whole minute. That's not enough time for us to return to the Elsa.
Is this the only place we can activate it from? We can't do it remotely?
No! This system was built so that the command will only be accepted from here.
Damn. So the only way to stop this thing is to go down with it?
This can't be. There has to be another way.
There isn't! I've searched again and again, but we can only activate it from here.
Please head back now.
What, Cosmos?
Xion, please return to the Elsa with the others. I will stay behind to initiate the detachment sequence.
Wait a second. Stay behind?
This facility will enter the atmosphere shortly. We will exceed the tolerances for maximum temperature in 3 minutes 28 seconds. Please hurry.
But...
My self-preservation programming is functioning properly. I have no intention of remaining on this facility to the very end. Do not worry. At maximum speed, I can reach the Elsa in under 1 minute.
You're sure?
Yes, this option guarantees the highest probability of success.
All right. Let's go, Xion.
but...
Trust her. It'll be okay. She'll catch up. Now come on.
Xion?
Xion.
Cosmos! You better make it back! You hear me? You better!
First we touched, and we hurt each other. Then we tear our hearts apart. We are too close, and I can feel the pain fill my empty heart. In Is this pain too much for me? Can I stay when this pain consumes my heart? Will I be able to hold on to my soul?
Hurry! This area will soon collapse.
Kindness is something I don't want or need. The sunshine would just dissolve me into light. Give me a pain as pleasing as your sight. Matthews!
Little Master, what's all this shaking? What the hell's going on?
Proto Merkaba is about to re-enter the atmosphere. If left unchecked, it'll crash into the planet.
What?
We detached all the subcompartments, and that's what's causing the shaking. Anyway, we'll get to the details later. Prepare for immediate liftoff.
Prepare? We're not lifting off right now?
Cosmos is still inside. We gotta wait for her.
Wait a minute. If it's already detaching, then aren't we in danger?
I'm aware of that. But if I say we wait, we wait.
Cosmos, please, hurry back.
Captain, up there! What?
Captain, we can't stay much longer.
No kidding. Little Master!
Damn it. What's taking her? Come on, come on.
Captain!
Little Master!
All right. Lift off!
Captain! No! Wait! Ah!
Kindness is something I don't want or need.
That was close.
Just dissolve me into light.
Captain, please go back! Cosmos is still inside!
Are you crazy? You want to get caught in that? We're leaving now.
You can't!
Don't be afraid, Shion. Everything will be all right. See with your heart.
See with my heart.
Captain! The wall! 400 meters to the port side! Take her in close!
What?
Trust me, just hurry!
What do you mean, hurry?
Shion, port side, 400 meters, right?
Tony!
Huh? Tony!
Cosmos, I really ought to put you on a diet. Thank goodness.
can't hear you! Like I said, the angle of approach is too steep! Well, can't you adjust it?
It's no use. The controls aren't responding. That can't be. All control functions are in the green. The apogee and re-entry balances were damaged by the debris. We can't adjust the logical drive angle any further than this.
You moron! Stop whining and do something about it! You want to be vaporized?
External hull temperature exceeding maximum limit.
What will you do?
You're... Wait!
Relinquish your pain unto me.
The aft hatch, it's open!
What? Who's the moron doing that? Is he trying to burn all of us from the inside out?
It can't be! Cosmos! You can't!
Xian, I will proceed to shield the Elsa with my energy field. Please stabilize the ship during that time.
Don't be ridiculous! What can you possibly accomplish by doing that?
Do not worry. Maintaining this position for 1 minute and 20 seconds will save the Elsa.
But you'll be incinerated if you do that! Stop this at once!
I am happy to be of service.
External cameras destroyed!
Are we... okay? Huh? Hey! Miss Vector!
Huh?
Activate the secondary bow camera.
Roger.
Cosmos.
Cosmos!
I've been walking since you walked into
Yeah, there's the credits.
Monday morning.
Yeah, that was basically the ending of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, except not. Oh, we have some cutscenes during the credits here? I've been sniffling and sneezing constantly during this ending sequence. It's been ridiculous. Who be this? I believe that is Jin, actually. I would have very briefly seen in the anime. I believe that's Shion's brother. I could be completely off base here. Well, yeah, that's true there. It's probably like that. Man, if I'm sniffly. You know how it be. I'm in a menu planner. Oh.
It's clear that the UTIC organization's target is on Wilshire. There's a vortex of temptation.
Look at that low-res clock.
Still remains. That's what continues to draw them in. And Albedo, he's being drawn in just the same.
Albedo? You mean the URTV Albedo? He's still alive?
He will not die. Not until that time arrives.
When I turn to see your face, I remember.
Now that was entertaining. All that remains is for Mapesh to link up with the UMN, and my objective will be complete. Do heed my message, Rubido.
We've confirmed a gate jump by Albedo's craft. This is acceptable?
Yes, that's fine. The door that leads to Abel's Ark, he is the only one who can open it.
There's a possibility that he may link with Udu again.
That won't happen. He doesn't have that much power. He's only a key. Of course, we must accept the possibility that he can affect space-time anomalies to some extent. But that's what all of you are for. Still, his will...
Who was hired for this game for the pro fighter role?
It's a shame to relegate him to such a minor role.
They didn't even choreograph anything for the game. They were just there in the studio being pro fighters, fighting one another. For Monolith's entertainment in the gladiatorial ring. Like, you'd think that would say fight choreographer or something. It's just pro fighter. Man, I want to be in the credits of a video game as pro fighter. Like, wow. Well, I'm sure we'll have to see the actual real Zohar in the first place in 2 or 3. Probably 3 if I had to guess. We never actually saw the real Zohar during this game.
Mission complete.
No more headpiece.
Welcome back.
Well, Xenoblade 2 ending, but not. You know how it be. Monolith Software. Pretty close. Ah! Wide nose. Alright. Well. Oh. Here's the several games you worked on. Add yourself as the credit for Pro Fighter. Harmonious. Yes, that's right. Yeah, Listed as game developer on several university games. Listed as developer and composer on one. But I'm not listed as pro fighter on any of them. Oh, sure. To be continued. Ah, yes. Well. Yeah, it seems like for the ending of Xenoblade 2, they took some major inspiration here. Look, it took me 35 hours. Probably closer to 36 or 37 when you count the race timelines. I would imagine. So, if you load that save data, what happens? What exactly happens here? I'm just kind of curious. What? What the fuck is the point of saving then? Like, is it just to see your clear data and time and final stats? Man, it's a really good thing I didn't save over like my main file or anything like that. That's like a Fire Emblem Three Houses situation where you beat the game and it prompts you save, and then if you load that slot, if you saved in your main slot and you load that slot after you beat the game, all it does is play the credits over and over again, except worse. It's just you get to see on that slot what your final time was. Yeah, I can load any other save data. Wow. Episode 1 end. Huh. I would have thought maybe it would put me before the final boss or something. Something where you could still use your file. It's a really good thing I was jumping across different slots. Wow. So if you play this game and you only save in like one slot, you get fucked at the end. Wow. Yeah, it's worse than Three Houses. At least Three Houses you get to watch the credits again. I was just thinking about that, and I'm also sniffling and being insane here. Hold on. Oh, man. I do have some things to say. I do definitely have things to say about this game. I should probably put on some music in the background. I won't exactly have any gameplay in the background. We're just gonna have this. Here, let's get some music or something. Do you have my DVD stream playlist open here somewhere? Let's see. Not here. I don't think I have it open on any of these tabs. Let's bring it up. That's what we'll do. At least that game lets you see your support credits, plus use the file as New Game Plus. Yeah, so it's not completely pointless. You can New Game Plus it. This, what a debate. The hell is the point of asking me if I want to save? The game is making me sick. That's such terrible design. It's unreal. Wow. Okay. Here. Let's put this on shuffle or something. I don't know. My kind of go-to stream playlist here. Here, have that on shuffle or something or other. Why do I have to be feeling this way now, huh? All right. Where do I even begin? There are things to say about this game. There's a reason 90% of RPGs put you back to just before you put beat the final boss. Yeah, so you can keep playing your game instead of friggin' this bullshit. That's really dumb. Yeah, I thought that I'd seen the dumbest like situation of asking the player if they want to save their game in Three Houses, where you save into a slot and it's like, oh, now you load that slot and you're just gonna see the credits over and over again. I didn't think it could get much worse than that. But it's literally just a screenshot. You turn your file into an image and put a dedicated save slot for that. My god. That is disgusting, isn't it? Wow. I was not expecting that. I'm getting sweaty here, man. Oh man, I'm sniffling. I might take some cold medicine before I go to bed. Because, man, another game from the 2000 with bad design, it seems like... Alright, where do I start on this game? How about the story, I guess, here? How do we get lower than this, guys? Ask to save the game and it bricks your console? I don't know, how do you get lower than this? Nintendo asks you if you want to save your silly sounding username and then they brick your console for it because Nintendo. Just think about bricking consoles because they've been doing that with some Switch 2s apparently. Okay. I am feeling sickly, I'm sniffly, I'm sneezy. I gotta get cold medicine and go to bed. I will give my review first, but if I'm like sounding terrible and sniffling constantly during it, then, you know, apologies. Start with a story, how about? Yeah, apparently so. I had thought that, you know, games that have super duper long cutscenes, there was a time that I was under the impression that that was more of a recent RPG slash JRPG thing, where, like, sometimes there would be the odd game with pretty long cutscenes in, like, this era, early 2000s. The first thing that I would think of being, like, Metal Gear Solid. But I didn't think that there was that many cases at all of, you know, games that would have very, very long cutscenes. This game very much rivaled Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3. Like, my goodness gracious, I wasn't expecting that. Some of the cutscene length of this game was very insane. I think it was stream 2. I sat down to play the game, like, oh yeah, let's do another stream of Xenosaga. I settle in, I get it started. Half an hour of cutscenes. There's a part of this playthrough that's cutscenes only, zero gameplay. I don't think I've had that for maybe any of my playthroughs before, where it's just cutscenes, no gameplay. But the cutscenes were so long that I may as well make it its own part there. Yeah, at the beginning there, and when I was looking into the development of this story, it seemed the development of this game series, it seems very much like Tetsuya Takahashi, very much. He gave me some impressions of Kojima when I was reading up some of this stuff, where it's like, he wanted to make it film-like and, you know, be whatever the hell. Whatever. My brain is fried. I'm getting sick here, man. I wanted to exercise cinematography. Whatever the word for that would be. You want it to be cinematic and stuff like that. And, like, the cutscenes, like, the quality cutscenes were good. Like, the quality and effort that was put into them, like, they were very quite entertaining to watch. Like, the cutscenes weren't boring by any means. I say as I was sticking around with my 3D printer for a bunch of them, but generally speaking, yeah, the cutscenes were entertaining. Like, they were good. They went pretty hard, but man, were they long sometimes. I guess this kind of connects to, like, story and gameplay, but let's just talk about the pacing first and foremost. So, sure, let's start with the intro. Is what we'll start with here. So, yeah, we load up the game, and there's, what, like a 20-minute, something like that, cutscene? And then you do gameplay of, like, a dungeon with the whole simulation, the Cosmos simulation with Shion and Cosmos to do, like, the tutorial and introduce the game mechanics for, like, battles and encounters and stuff like that. And then, you know, you've got another, like, I don't know, 10-minute cutscene, something like that, and then you don't have that battle and, like, enemy gameplay for the next 2 hours. You run around seeing little smidges of cutscenes and dicking around, getting lost on the Woglinde, doing whatever the heck needs to be done for the next 2 hours. And it does establish, like, some interesting ideas, like establishing the Realians and a little bit of background on the Realians and Virgil really not liking the Realians and stuff like that. Like, it does play around with some interesting ideas. I won't say that it was completely boring during that segment, but for the most part, it was pretty boring during that segment. Outside of some of the interesting ideas that it was putting forward, like showing stuff with the Zohar, or going into some of the background with the Realians, like, that stuff would have my attention. But everything else there, it is so wild. 20 minutes of cutscenes, tutorial for like an hour or something like that in active gameplay. Boot it out. Now enjoy 2 hours of just running around and talking to people until the game actually starts. I'm gonna turn up the music a little bit here. It's pretty quiet. Is what I'm gonna do. Like, it is wild. And then you have the whole intro sequence that goes on for a bit, but at least it's engaging. Or the intro sequence, the inciting incident of the Gnosis attacking the ship. At least that had my attention, and like some of the cutscenes during that made me very stunned that this was rated T for teen and not M for mature, when characters were getting impaled, blood is splattering everywhere. The Gnosis like shakes them off and blood goes splattering, and I was like, holy shit, is the whole game gonna be like this? It wasn't, but it really took me by surprise, and I feel like if something like that came out today, it would be rated M for mature. And when I was reading into like some of the development of this game, apparently this version actually got a little bit censored compared to the Japanese original. Apparently, apparently the scene where like Albedo's like cutting off his limbs and tearing off his head and stuff like that in front of Momo, apparently that scene got heavily censored in the Western version. Where apparently in the Japanese version, rather than showing Momo looking at him, you actually get to see like him cutting off his limbs and stuff like that. I am glad that they left in the shot of like his head on the ground and talking and stuff though. Like that was actually kind of a wild scene. So apparently it was decently censored, but you know, because they didn't want it to be rated M for mature. But even with the restrictions here, you can kind of piece it together, and I still thought like, okay, this is pretty heavy. Like that was kind of cool there. So sometimes it went pretty hard like that. But just in general, the pacing of this game, this kind of ties with gameplay and story. But it felt like the gameplay loop of this game was go into a dungeon that you're going to spend the next 2 to 3 hours in, watch half an hour of cutscenes. Go into a dungeon you're going to spend the next 2 to 3 hours in, watch half an hour of cutscenes. Go into a dungeon that you're going to spend the next 2 to 3 hours in, watch half an hour of cutscenes. Like, the pacing is unreal. And I wasn't super engaged by the dungeons because it was mostly just, you know, go down paths until you find the right path. And when there was a puzzle in a dungeon, it would usually be like the most basic thing. The only thing that I can think of that was actually maybe puzzle-like was the whole sounds with the Trinity processor looking thing in the Song of Nephilim, where you have to do it like based on sounds. That was actually kind of cool, and I wish that I pieced it together myself. Like that one was kind of a cool puzzle. But for the most part, puzzles in this game didn't really exist. It didn't really seem like Monolith Soft knew how to design puzzles. They usually just go up and, you know, press a button and then stuff happens. So the dungeons weren't really engaging my brain. The random encounters during dungeons would take 3 freaking business days to get through. I guess I'm getting super into gameplay. Let's properly get back to gameplay later. Point is, the pacing is kind of absurd. I really wish that as I was going through dungeons, I was getting like cutscenes during it. Like, for example, when we were inside the Gnosis that had the Zohar, and Cherenkov there was out there going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and we had like these massive sets of cutscenes that would play like all at once. But I kind of wish that we had seen like some of these snippets of like Cherenkov, for example, throughout the dungeon to kind of keep me engaged and keep me motivated to get to like the next stage, instead of being like, okay, well, time to venture around for like 2 hours until I get a butt ton of cutscenes all at once. Like, I kind of wish that there was more intermittent rewards along the way. The rewards being the cutscenes, essentially, to help engage me along the way. Because man, the dungeons kind of bored me when they all felt samey, didn't really have puzzles, and had me turn off my brain, and the random encounters weren't really worth doing. So having cutscenes during them a little bit more intermittently would both make it more engaging and give a better sense like you're making progress and advancing the story, instead of just dicking around in this dungeon for like 2 to 3 hours with zero progress seemingly happening in terms of like story stuff, is what I certainly feel like there. And it's not like the game is lacking for story content like in its current format, it's just that it dumps it on you all at once in these big batches instead of like intermittently throughout the game, and I feel like the pacing could be a whole lot better. And while there are a lot of things this story does, like, you know, again, I was in this game for 35 hours and it felt at times like the cutscenes were such a significant portion of it. I won't say it was like half of it. In the early game, I'd say the cutscenes were half of it, but as the game went on and I went in all these long dungeons, it definitely wasn't half anymore, but still a significant chunk. Definitely not short by any means, and there was a lot of hours of cutscenes. Like, I think Guzma told me it was like 7 or 8. It felt like it was more than that. Like, there's a lot of cutscenes in this game. And yet, for a game with so many cutscenes and having so much storytelling, at the same time, it also felt kind of like a bit of a nothing burger. And that, like, when I was reading some of the development behind this and hearing that this was only like 20% of their planned first arc, I can see why. This felt very introductory. Like, let's get our characters underway here. Let's start showing a little bit about them. My going live meme that I posted going live today, I think is really quite accurate. Let's see here. This is you know, that's kind of how it goes. They did freaking nothing with Chaos. They introduced Chaos as a character on the ship, showed him like dissolve a Gnosis, be like, oh, you know, everyone has their own unique set of skills. And then he did nothing in the story ever again, pretty much. Like, it was wild. It was certainly something there. So yeah, that was my going live meme, and it's kind of fitting there. So even though there was a lot of cutscenes, it felt like it was a nothing burger in the sense that we didn't really go anywhere with the ideas. And that's probably because this game was initially planned to do a lot more things. Like, the initial plans of this game had the party reaching Second Miltia, and that's kind of our goal throughout the game, is Cosmos has been ordered to go to Second Miltia for some unknown reason. The party is following along to Second Miltia. We hear that there's like all this important stuff going on in Second Miltia. We gotta get to Second Miltia. So you spend the whole game with like your goal of Second Miltia, slowly getting there. And you never get there! The game ends before you get to Second Miltia. Unless that's the planet that was right there, unless we were right next to Second Miltia. But like, was the Kukai Foundation next to Second Miltia? Because I was under the impression that the Song of Nephilim was next to the Kukai Foundation. And then like the Proto Macabreda there was like next to that, like right close by distance, and we hopped on. I know that it was the Death Star's objective to destroy Second Miltia, but I thought that it was gonna like super far laser. I didn't think that that was the nearby planet. I don't know, maybe that planet is Second Miltia. I don't know. Maybe we did get there after all at the end of the game, but point is, our whole goal was to get to Second Miltia, and we never even got there during the game. So it's like, oh, okay, well, you know, when our literal first objective of the game is just reach this place to figure out what's going on next, and you never have that happen. It's like, what? Like, of course you can have a goal that's not reached in, like, you know, the first entry of a trilogy if it's something, like, really profound. Like, let's say the goal was find the true Zohar from the beginning. This playlist is definitely not shuffling. Like, let's say their goal was find the true Zohar, find the original Zohar. Then it would feel like it made sense that they wouldn't find that in the first game, that it would be found in the later games. And it would feel narratively like, okay, that's fine that they didn't reach that. But when their goal is literally just reach this planet because there's something going on there, and then we'll figure out our next steps, and then that doesn't even happen, it's like, what the hell were we even doing? So, to summarize the plot of this game, we're on the Woglinde with this Zohar emulator that's just been yoinked and is being brought, like, home to safety there. Cosmos is on there as a defense unit, so she's an anti-Gnosis android, and just in case the Gnosis come and attack, they take the Zohar, almost everyone dies, they're rescued by the crew on the Elsa there, and then they decide to, like, start going towards Second Miltia, because that's where Cosmos has apparently been ordered to by someone. It's not known who. Probably Wilhelm of Victor Industries there or whatever the heck. And I start going to Second Miltia. They meet Ziggy and Momo along the way after Ziggy saved Momo on orders. They make it to the dot colony where Cherenkov goes a little bit cuckoo, and then they keep on going on their way. And then they get attacked by the Gnosis, and they go inside a Gnosis where Cherenkov goes super crazy, and you fight him as a boss, and then you retrieve the Zohar emulator. Then you meet up with Junior, who's like, hey, I have all the other Zohar emulators. We got them all. Let's go chill in the Kukai Foundation. And then we go chill in the Kukai Foundation. And then the UTIC organization is like, hey, you guys, we kind of need Momo. So we're going to frame you. We're going to frame you for destroying the Woglinde and that whole crew. And then you have to go, like, get proof that you guys didn't destroy the Woglinde, because obviously off of Cosmos, so you go link up to Cosmos, and then you go into like the exposition world where a bunch of stuff happens with Shion and Junior and them kind of coming to terms with their past, and you kind of get some ideas of what's going on in your past, but this game doesn't fully spell it out. You probably still have to get to later games to understand what the hell was going on in their past. And we get like foreshadowing for future games, like, oh yeah, this tree on the hill, you must save my sisters one day, you know, stuff like that, where it's just like, okay, this is just foreshadowing for future games. It doesn't mean anything right now. We get the proof that we need that we didn't destroy the Woglinde. We give it to the Federation, and then the UTIC organization's like, okay, doing it the proper way of, like, going through the Federation and arresting them didn't work. Let's unleash the Song of Nephilim and just summon a whole bunch of Gnosis. So they unleash the Song of Nephilim and they summon a whole bunch of Gnosis, and then they take Momo and they get the data on her that they need that includes a bunch of stuff like, I think, the original Zohar location. And so you go to save Momo, and you go to the Song of Nephilim and beat up Albedo and stop the Song of Nephilim. And then Albedo's like, aha, but I have this secret weapon, the Proto-Mechara, whatever the hell Mechara it was called. And then you go there and you stop the Proto-Mechara, the Death Star, and that's the end of the game. And you never even freaking get to second Miltia. So, like, even though this game has so many hours of cutscenes and does so much stuff, at the same time, it is also such a nothing burger in that it doesn't feel like the plot is actually directly moving forward. Like, what ways did the plot actually move forward outside of just, you know, establishing ideas and hints about future stuff? Like, in the second half there. Of course, I'd be moving forward in the beginning and getting all our characters together, but in that whole second half with, like, the whole being framed, and the Gnosis attacking the Kukai Foundation, and the Song of Nephilim, and the Proto-Mechara there, what actually happened that advanced the plot? I guess Albedo getting the information he needed from Momo would count as advancing the plot? Apart from that, what else happened that actually advanced the plot? Guess it was revealed that Virgil was still alive and, you know, on the bad guy's side there. But, like, it's just, nothing happens. Here, click on another video, and then that should just change the shuffling seed. Like, it's unreal. So the game is literally just, you know, get attacked, escape, see the stuff that's going on with Ziggy and Momo, come together with them, get attacked again, recover the Zohar emulator, and reunite it with the other emulators. Then you're framed for crimes you didn't do. You get proof that shows that you weren't the ones that did it. And then they unleash hell with, like, this super weapon. So you go stop the super weapon, and then they unleash an even more super weapon, and you go stop that super weapon. And that's the entire game. That's the plot of Xenosaga Episode 1. So, it does establish some ideas that I am intrigued by. Like, of course, it lays the groundwork for things that I am intrigued about. Like the whole fact that Cosmos' eye color changed in 2 instances when she saved the party. Once around the middle of the game, and one time, like, right at the very end there before those wings came out, which are kind of symbolic. Also with, like, the cover art of the game and stuff like that. You know, that's intriguing. What the hell is going on with Chaos? What's Junior's full proper past? What's Ziggy's past? Like, I want to know more about that and everything that's going on with Momo's parents there and Shion's backstory and what happened with the original Cosmos. And, you know, it just leaves a whole bunch of questions unanswered, and sure, it makes me intrigued, but I think if I, like, this is jumping the gun a little bit in the review. I'm still going to talk about gameplay, but overall, I do think that if I had played this and Xenosaga 2 came out as, like, a new game, I don't think at face value I'd go and buy Xenosaga 2. I'd probably look up online, like, is it any good? Does it start to do things with the ideas that it established? But as is, this was just, it established a lot of ideas, and it didn't really go anywhere with them. Another thing that intrigued me was the whole beach of nothingness that Cherenkov was sent to, which is very clearly the same beach that Lao was sent to in Xenoblade Chronicles X, this little place between dimensions, and a place where they can be alone and, you know, stuff like that. So having, like, the exact same physical beach, having Elysium in a very similar style to Xenoblade 2, where it's like one tree on a hill, and in this fake world it looks like a really nice place, but in reality it's this place that's, like, all destroyed and fallen to ruin and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of things that are very closely tied to things that were later used in Xenoblade Chronicles, and as someone that's played Xenoblade Chronicles, that especially makes me, you know, really intrigued. Like, you can see playing this game that a lot of stuff was taken from Xenosaga for Xenoblade Chronicles, and I'm sure that that'll be the case for episode 2 and 3 as well. Like, so that's kind of interesting to see. But yeah, a lot of these ideas, like, the Beach of Nothingness, like Elysium, like Cosmos, like freaking almost all the characters, is just hinting at future things, but not actually doing anything with them in this game. So it just leaves this game feeling really unfulfilling, and like it just purely serves as the prologue for the stuff that you might actually care more about, is what it can't help but feel like. I mean, there were definitely times I was genuinely enjoying the plot, like all the crazy shit that they were doing with Cherenkov at points. Or one of my favorite parts about the plot was the fact that with Cosmos, even though the game tells you that she's just a weapon, she's just this battle android, you naturally ascribe a level of humanity to her because she's literally made in the form of a human. Like if you freaking make an AI that has like a 3D model that you're talking to or something like that, you're going to attribute some level of humanity to it. In fact, there's times that we inadvertently attribute humanity to things. One could make the argument, like say a toaster, when you're saying like, you fucking piece of shit, why aren't you working? We're ascribing a level of humanity to it. That's a little bit more inadvertent. It isn't as direct. But it's a funny thing to think about from some of my AI and robot classes that I took in university. But point is, she is literally designed to be humanized. And so you ascribe like a level of trust and humanity to her. And during the intro of the game, there are two key instances where she betrays that level of humanity that you've put onto her and makes you as the player guess and question yourself if you were wrong to ascribe that level of humanity onto her. The two key instances are, one, her gunning down Virgil. That doesn't happen in the anime until way later on. And the other instance of her, like, of her humanity coming into question doesn't happen too much in the anime either. So that whole lack of trust doesn't really happen that much in the anime version. I think that the anime is kind of crap. But shooting Virgil in the back, being like, oh, there's a Gnosis right there. He's not an important guy to protect. He signed up for this. Let's not, you know, make my combat slightly more inefficient. Let's just gun right through him because he happened to be in the way. So, you know, Virgil gave some party member energy, and that he clearly had some deal with Realians, and I thought that that might be something that would be, you know, developed throughout the game, and maybe he learns to have some trust on Realians or other robots like Cosmos. That's what I thought was being built up, and maybe the game wanted to give you the impression that that's the direction that they were going. And then to have him be shot in the back by one of the figures that he didn't trust in the first place, one, kind of serves in a way to validate the beliefs he had, one could make an argument for. And two, like, completely betrays the player's trust and makes you wonder, like, were you wrong to ascribe that level of humanity to Cosmos? And then immediately after, when she's on the Elsa and is completely content with abandoning Shion and Alan there, because they're probably gonna be saved. There's like a 70-something% chance, she was saying, that they're gonna be rescued. She has to get the second Milsha right now, so every second counts. And she was just gonna leave Shion and Alan out there to potentially die. And, that's another instance where it makes you go like, holy shit, this really is just like a heartless machine that's acting to, you know, fulfill her mission there. And of course there were instances later on where you start to question, like, are we supposed to ascribe humanity back onto her? And it makes you question, how human is she really? Like the whole, will feeling pain finally make me complete, or whatever the hell she said when she had the blue eyes and is protecting the party. Or actually saying things to comfort Momo, for example, even though she's like, yep, this just seemed like the efficient way to go about things, or whatever the heck she said. There are some instances where a pure objective-oriented machine might not act in such a way, and she did. So the game has you initially ascribe a level of humanity onto her, has that trust be completely betrayed and be like, oh my god, can we even trust Cosmos? Like, were we wrong to ascribe a level of humanity onto her? And so that humanity you put onto her is torn down in face of this, you know, soulless machine. But then it takes the rest of the game to make you ask, is there part of a soul there? So it does this crazy kind of back and forth thing that has you kind of questioning her throughout the game. That I thought was actually kind of interesting. That I thought was something well done with the plot. That I liked. But yeah, let's see here. Yeah, literally Elysium. When it comes to writing trilogies that aren't set in stone to be fully finished, it typically wise make the first story complete for major plot, whilst leaving elements open for sequels. The thing is, they initially planned to do 6 games that covered 3 arcs. So each game was going to be like 50% of a story arc. And by the time they finished this game, apparently this game was only 20% of the first story arc. And then ultimately, by the end of the Xenosaga trilogy, it sounds like they were only able to tell their first arc that they had planned, start to finish, and they couldn't tell their second and third arcs. Is what it sounds like. I need to look more into it and see what the full backstory for, like, the development of it was and stuff, but that's the basic understanding that I have at this point. And I don't know why this was rushed out incomplete, because apparently they did plan more stuff with this game. Apparently they did plan for the party to get to Second Miltia. Some of the early trailers for this game show the party on Second Miltia, a place that they never reached during the game. So who knows why so much stuff was cut out there, but you know, it's just a story that establishes a lot of ideas for the future, but it doesn't really have a standalone enjoyable plot. It doesn't really have like a proper start and end in the traditional sense of like, oh yeah, that wrapped things up. That was a satisfying story. It just kind of ends at the place where it needs to end, where it's like, oh yeah, this is kind of a convenient place where we can have a big battle. Let's just have it end there, is kind of what it felt like. So it felt a little haphazard, and it felt like a kind of shoehorned in final boss and ending, like, oh, we don't have time in this game to get them to Second Miltia after all. Let's just end it here. That's sort of final boss like, but it doesn't really, it's not a final boss that like concludes any narrative, any major narrative threads. It's just kind of Albedo's pissed off and here's a final gambit and oh, here's a mega gnosis that's in his big machine. Ooh, then we fight that and freaking whatever, man. Take Metal Gear Solid, for example. The antagonist start to end is Liquid Snake, and the game ends with you stopping him permanently, where they kept Ocelot alive with a teaser of him being able to spread Metal Gear across the map. Yeah, something like that, where it's like Metal Gear Solid 1 is absolutely a start-to-finish standalone story, even if there's clearly plans to, you know, evolve the series and continue the story and use these other characters for future things. Well, I hit a whole bunch of buttons at once, but it looks like it didn't break anything. Like, you could enjoy all those stories as standalone experiences, but this feels very much like it's gonna be reliant on future stories. This, on its own, is like, hey, you know, there's some cool ideas, but that is not an enjoyable start-to-finish kind of story, because that does not feel like the end to the story. It even ends with the whole to be continued there. Like, it doesn't really have a satisfying wrap-up of any narrative threads that were established during this game. It's just kind of like, oh, this is kind of where we need to end the game, so this is where we're ending the game. We'll continue it next time. So I assume that the beginning of Xenosaga 2 is going to have us be on Second Miltia there or something or other. But yeah, so there's that. Yeah, who knows there? Yeah, maybe. Similar there. Oh my god, I'm not feeling great. I'm gonna take some cold medicine and go to bed afterwards here. Let's go on to another easy aspect, the music. It's not bad, but it's freaking non-existent, and the few themes that are in there are so dang repetitive and annoying when you hear the exact same battle theme throughout the game. Even the final boss theme, the general tune, it was good, but it was this very basic loop. It's like, really? So, you know, bleh to the music, because there was basically almost none of it. You just kept on hearing the same few themes over and over again, and so much of the game was just complete silence. Like, I'm exploring around the Durandal, and all you hear is just this buzzing, this whir of, like, I don't know, a fan some staff member has on their desk or something like that. You just hear a buzz, and that's it. That's your soundtrack as you're going around the friggin' Durandal. Oh, I guess that's something that I can talk about, like the setting. The setting is really cool, and some of the ideas that they had, like the design of the Durandal and it docking in the Kukai Foundation and becoming a tower there, like stuff like that is cool. I really like really cool, unique sci-fi things like that. I got a kick out of that. Just on a side note, it might just, but it looks like if Samus was currently in the room with Harmonia. How what? You what now? You know Alpha's when he splits himself into Alpha and A. Alpha's more the computer part and A is the more emotion part. Alpha feels like Cosmos. Not much emotion, just following orders as a machine. Yeah, there was the beach episode at the Kukai Foundation. There was technically the beach episode with Cherenkov as well, but very different beach episode. But you are right. Cosmos does feel kind of like the, you know, goal-oriented machine without much emotion behind her. Until she starts doing things that actually do feel like sympathizing and getting her blue eyes and acting in selfless ways and stuff like that. That'll be delved into further in the later games. But yeah, the general art style there was pretty good. You know, the character models and everything like that I thought were fine. You know, they felt very much like PS2 kind of era JRPG models. It feels, our cast feels semi like children with, you know, Junior, Chaos, Momo, Shion to an extent. You know, it feels like I'm playing Fire Emblem Engage here with this cast. Microphone is currently positioned in front of something that has an uncanny resemblance to Samus. You know, it's funny, there's a Samus poster literally right back here, but you can't see it because it's blocked, is the thing. You can see literally Samus's arm. Thinking about like my hat and stuff here, something or other. A whole bunch of bits and bobs together that are forming it, including Samus's actual arm. Maybe. Well, also the Jubilife city we're listening to here. Yeah, that's it. Oh, let's see here. And the gameplay. In the ways of like exploring around the world, it felt very PS2 early 2000s era JRPG-esque, where it's like, you know, moving around, here's enemies on the field, you're gonna struggle to move past them. Like, it felt very of the times. There's nothing wrong with that. If there was actual puzzles to solve along the way. Like, what are other RPGs I've played from around the time? Like, when did Tales of Vesperia come out? Tales of Vesperia. Date did that release? That game was, oh, 2008. All right, I'm losing my mind. I thought it was closer to that time. Or like Final Fantasy VII. I played that for the first time earlier this year. At least that had like some puzzle solving elements as you're going around and like some interesting things. Like, let's take the Shinra building, for example, in Final Fantasy VII, when Cloud, Barret, and Tifa are racing up to go and, you know, save Aerith and stuff like that towards the beginning of the game. You already have like some options at the front where it's like, do we take the elevator right up and like go right into the whole bunch of guards and bad guys, or do we take the longer stairs up and, you know, potentially sneak in? And I had taken the stairs, and as you're like going up the stairs, you can see like Barret panting. There's dialogue about like the characters are exchanging quips about like how long the stairs are and how it seems like they're never ending, and that kind of adds an element of fun, and, you know, it kept me entertained as we're going up. And there's like the slight little mini games and stuff that you have to do, like the little puzzles, mini, whatever I wouldn't know if they would be called mini games, but, you know, the semi different mechanics that you would have to use as you're going up the Shinra building. Like, these guards are on patrol, move in such a way where you hide behind these statues as they're going by, stuff like that. And then the higher levels where it's like, oh, the passcode to get further ahead is like within these books, and it's like a code that you have to crack. Like, it tried to do different things to, you know, keep you entertained, keep you going, keep you engaged. Choking on my own spit here now. So, when you're going through dungeons in like Final Fantasy VII, for example, there's usually like some different things going on there that keep you engaged. That's a game that would have come out 5 years before this one. But the dungeons of this game all felt like exactly the same. They looked a little different, but in terms of functionality, they all felt exactly the same. Pathways of about yay thickness, enemies on around the area that like maybe you can sneak by, maybe you can't. And they all just felt like exactly the same, and with no like puzzles or anything different to do. I guess you blast boxes from time to time, and sometimes they have an item, sometimes they have an enemy. You know, that's not really going to be enough to like super engage me with it though. So it made me really appreciate the RPGs that had more different stuff going on as you're trekking through, because every single dungeon just felt exactly the same. And they started to get like really old really quick. If this actually was an 80-hour game, I would get bored out of my mind before I ever beat it. I was starting to get a decent bit bored even as is, with 35 hours going through so many of the samey feeling dungeons. And it was especially compounded by the fact that, you know, RPGs, you expect that random encounters, the basic enemies around, you know, they'll do some damage to you. There's not going to be anything that insane, you know, then they'll take a few hits and they'll go down. Like, the random encounters aren't going to be anything that insane. The random encounters of this game were tanky. A lot of them could heal, I know I was underleveled for a lot of this game, but while I was going through underleveled, they'd hit me and they'd take off like half my HP then and there. When my level was what you would expect it to be, they take off like a fourth to a third of my HP in one hit, and there's multiple enemies acting at once. You know, then you have to... It felt a lot more tedious than it felt like random encounters should feel like. You know, and they don't necessarily give a lot of EXP and stuff. So it made me not want to fight them unless I was specifically taking time to grind, which, like, I took several grinding sessions on my own time between sessions until I eventually decide, you know, this is gonna be way too time consuming to get to the expected level. Let's just, you know, use some cheat codes for that to get to, like, expected level and not be, you know, on the verge of death constantly in battles. So I'd done that, but with the random encounters taking so freaking long to beat and being so tedious and giving you like very little reward for it, leveling up in this game is slow. I felt like I was playing Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon with how slow I was leveling up. It just didn't feel all that worth it. So even when I knew I was underleveled, I would still want to use like escape kits or goodbye and just keep on going, just because I knew that it would take a while. And if I really want to level up, then I may as well take dedicated time for that, close to a save point and like off camera and stuff like that. So especially if you're playing on console, I feel like that would be especially an efficient way to play, so that you can grind specifically when you have a save point that you can keep dipping back and forth from. Because if you do take time to fight everything along the way, you spend like an extra 1 hour getting through this dungeon. Now this 2-hour dungeon is a 3-hour dungeon. And then you die to some random enemy because there's always risk of that because the random encounters are actually tough. Now you lose the last 3 hours because that's where your last hard save was at. And I imagine that that would feel really freaking shitty, you know? But yeah. Yeah, lots of different enemy models. Oh, here's some Xenoblade music. These remind me of Detective Pikachu cutscenes a bit. Nah, these cutscenes were way better than Detective Pikachu. We're trying to find and rescue the 12 people. Yep. And then if there's one person you're missing, you're running around trying to find that one person. Thank goodness for the internet. Yeah, it's one of those situations where it's not all a puzzle, it's just tedious. And I wish in situations like that, the game would tell you, all right, there's 15 people to save. You gotta save at least 12 of them to progress the game. That way there isn't like one person you're missing in some random corner that you haven't found, and you have to take who knows how long trying to find the one person you've missed. But yeah, I think now is the time to make the decision whether it's worth to continue the trilogy. I mean, this is their first impression to say if and how they'd improve this quality. I have heard that the quality does go up, and from people that have played through the trilogy, apparently it's like a fantastic, profound like thing. And I do want to play through the trilogy, especially as a Xenoblade fan, and especially knowing that Xenosaga is probably going to be tied into future Xeno stuff, so this probably is going to be important for future story stuff going on. But if I wasn't a content creator after playing this game, I would probably look up a cutscene movie on YouTube for episodes 2 and 3. I don't think I'd play them. And if I hadn't played Xenoblade, I wasn't a fan of that, and I was just checking out Xenosaga to see if Xenosaga is worth it, and I hadn't heard anything that anybody had said. 1, I don't think I'd beat the game, but if by some miracle I beat the game, then 2, I don't think that I would go purchase Xenosaga 2. Like, PlayStation 2 was my first home console. If I picked up this game as a kid and played it, I probably would have gotten a kick out of it for a little bit, but I would not have beaten it, and then if I did, I probably wouldn't have been going out of my way to go purchase a copy of Xenosaga 2. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I went into this game expecting it to be, you know, a little bit dated, but I would generally like it. There were aspects that I liked about this game, but in a general sense, if I had to say whether or not I like Xenosaga 1 or not, I don't think I'd say that I like it. I think that there's more things I dislike about this game than I like. There's definitely a good amount of things about this game that I like, that I appreciated, and, you know, I found interesting. But I don't think I'd say I like this game as a general experience, and I don't think I'd recommend it. I think I'd recommend for anyone that is interested in the story, just go watch a cutscene movie on YouTube. I don't think that this is worth sinking time into, like, actually playing all the way through. I don't think it's a fulfilling experience. It is... The pacing is designed by a raccoon on meth. The gameplay is the same repetitive thing there for the dungeons, and it just becomes a little bit of a slog. There's one more big thing I want to talk about with the gameplay. I'll get to that in a second here. Yeah, I've heard that gets way better there. God, the epiphany I just had of Alpha and Cosmos being so similar just blew my mind. You said the same about Pokemon Coliseum, and we know how that went, but this game actually goes hard on story, unlike something like Pokemon Coliseum. Whenever Xenosaga 2 will have an opening sequence that summarizes the story of this game. I'm not going to start my Xenosaga 2 playthrough right now, but we could, you know, see the opening just for a little bit of a preview and find out. Because if so, it means that this game wouldn't need to be played. Well, you'll understand the story better if you play through it, instead of just seeing a last time on Dragon Ball Z kind of thing. And getting a summary and not truly understanding it. Even playing through this, there was a lot of shit that I didn't understand. Like, the story of this game is a little bit wild and hard to understand, even sometimes. And there was a couple streams where I had to go onto, like, Xenosaga wiki after the fact, read, like, the character bio for characters like Cherenkov, and be like, oh, so that's what that cutscene meant in the Gnosis. Okay, that makes more sense now. I had to read a little bit of a wiki for this one there. A small price to pay. It sure is there. My phone's vibrating. It's not important, is it? Probably not. It's an email. Yeah, I don't need to worry about that. Software update almost done. Restart your phone to finish the update. Oh, well, whatever. I don't need to worry about that. Last big thing I want to talk about with the gameplay is the battles themselves. I like me a good turn-based RPG, and the general mechanics they had with the battles of this game were actually pretty cool. You know, being able to save part of your action points for a future turn, being able to boost to, like, pop a turn right now, like, here's the turn order. You use a boost with this character, and that character's for sure going next, and you can kind of turn the turn order to your advantage. You know, stuff like that. I thought that those were some interesting ideas. I just think that the battles that they were designed around weren't well designed. So I think that, like, the general thing that they had going on for battle mechanics is pretty good. The things that I don't like with the battle mechanics is, so with AP, you would by default gain 4 of it a turn, and every time you attack, it uses 2. So you could gain 4, use 2, save the 2 remainder, and then on the next turn you have 6, and now you can attack 3 times in a row for a big combo during that turn. But 6 was your maximum, so the only amount of AP you could save for a future turn is half of a turn. I feel like it would have benefited from having, like, maybe say up to 6 AP that you can hold at a time. And then there might be more benefit to, like, holding on to a shit ton of it, instead of just, you know, half a turn's worth that felt, you know, barely important to be holding on to. Like, it was important in the early game for being able to pop tech attacks before you make them faster, but outside of that, like, how important is it really? Like, you get a little bit more bang for your buck when it's a crit turn or a boost turn that you care more about, but outside of that, it wasn't that much of a difference. You're saving half a turn, and you can only really use that extra half a turn with basic attacks. So, like, using an item, for example, takes 3 AP. I would think then that if I have 6 AP, that would mean I should be able to use 2 items this turn and use my full AP. No, the moment you use an item, it just ends your turn, even though it uses 3 AP and you should still have 3 remainder. You would think, if you took the time to save half a turn and keep your AP, you should be able to do that, or say using an ether ability that uses 4. Let's say you had a higher AP cap and you did save up to 8. Let's say you then could use a turn where you popped your 8 AP at once and got to use 2 ether abilities back to back. You would have some of that risk-reward kind of gameplay, like, do I take a risk by not taking an action now and saving it for later? And now you get the reward of potentially having that payoff of an extra turn when it might count a little bit more. Like, of course they had that to an extent with the boost system, but I feel like if I have more AP, I should be able to do actions more during that turn, outside of just the basic attacks. The thing that ticks me off the most is the items, where I have 6, it uses 3. Why can't I use another 3 that turn to use another item? And what would have been really friggin' cool is if doing an action didn't lock you into doing that action type for the rest of your turn. Like, let's say you had 6 AP, you spend 2 of it to do 1 pew on the boss, and then you use another 3, spending a total of 5, to pop an item. Or let's say you have 6 AP, you pop an ether ability, you use 4, and then you pop that last 2 for a pew during that turn. Like, if you could actually mix and match, it would open up a lot more strategic freedom. and would allow you to like make a lot more bigger brain plays. But the fact that the moment you use like any of your action points, it locks you into using that type of action for the rest of the turn, it just limits your options more, when they could have just taken away that restriction and really opened up strategic freedom in this game and made like the battles have a lot more depth to them. But they didn't want to be cool like that, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna sneeze again here. This game is making me sick, man. Quack. But yeah, oh man, I'm gonna sneeze again. Man, why am I like this, man? Oh boy. Yeah, the boss battles were so long though, like almost an hour long. Oh, there was 1 or 2 battles I had that went over an hour. I mean, the longest boss fights I have in my game are like 13 minutes at most, but that's not because it's a chapter final boss battle. Not an hour, holy shit. Really annoying, makes it feel too simple. Yeah, like they were experimenting with some cool ideas with their battle system, but they put the freaking training wheels on it that prevented it from like truly being cool and awesome. They put the limiters on there. It sucks, man. So they had some really cool things going on for their battle system, but they just didn't let it get to the point where there was like some really cool depth to it that would make it, you know, really stand out there. From all that, I think it's safe to say this game is not entertaining your fogots. What's my fogots? But yeah, the boss battles there, long. The battles very much F-goats. What's my F-goats? The boss battles felt very much like battles of attrition, and they, you know, if you started losing a bit of a foothold, there were times where I was struggling to get a foothold back. It was just becoming impossible because the boss was wombo comboing me and have more turns than I would be able to make up for when someone went down, and all this craziness there. Favorite games of all time? Oh, yeah, it's definitely not. Several of the Xenoblade games are. Not all of them, but several of the Xenoblade games are some of my favorite games of all time. This, I have a hard time even saying that this is a game that I enjoy. I'm not a Xenosaga 1 fan. Hopefully I'm not ticking off any Xenosaga 1 fans by saying all that. Oh yeah, and that does remind me, some other interesting ideas are like the whole being able to teach other characters your skills, being able to, or your ether skills, your ether attacks there, being able to inherit skills from items, from equipment. You know, there's some really cool ideas that this game experimented around with. It just, you know, didn't really do any of it deep enough to make it feel truly amazing, I guess. But yeah, the boss battles, they would very much be battles of attrition and go on and on. It was better when I took the time to get to what about the recommended level was there, supposedly judging by the internet, instead of being under leveled like I was throughout most of the game. Like dealing with that Mother Brain cosplayer that took me over an hour. My god, that was quite the time. And I guess I was quite under leveled for that, so I don't know, maybe beating the boss at that strength was something impressive of me. I don't know. I would like to imagine. I don't know if it was or not. But let me tell you, the number one thing that pissed me off about boss battles. Actually, no, there's one more smaller thing I wanted to mention. So first, the second biggest thing that pissed me off the most about, not all boss battles, but some boss battles. Some boss battles, when they would get low, would heal themselves like X amount of HP. Like the biggest instance of that was the one where the UTIC organization is sending all these drones after Ziggy's ship there that goes onto the Elsa, and now you're fighting all these guys on the Elsa. The final boss at the end of that one big like red drone, you get under 600 health, and then it heals 600 health on like its next turn, and then you have to get that down again, and then you get under 600 health, then it heals 600 health, and it just goes back and forth and back and forth. It's a damage check. Yep, boss is healing, and like consistently, like the trigger for that boss to heal 600 health was to be under 600 health. So it's a damage check. So let's say you spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes being under-leveled, slowly chipping away at a boss, being like, whew, this is really hard, but like maybe I can do it at my current strength. I'm slowly inching my way through. And then, surprise, the ending of the boss battle is a damage check that you can't pass. I hate damage checks in video games. I feel like if you have enough skill at a low enough strength to be able to get through the boss to that point, you should be able to get through, instead of the game just being like, oh, you don't do enough damage at this point. Go get stronger, come back again later. Like, that was the reason why I had to stop playing hard mode for Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. When I was playing Crisis Core at Fragapalooza and I only had so much time, I played through most of the game in hard mode, and there are some big damage checks the game asks of you, like the boss is charging up a super move, and the more you damage the boss before they unleash the super move, the less damage the super move does to you. And I could never do enough damage to Sephiroth to make his super move not one-shot me. And there were some damage checks that I was barely squeaking by, and I had to find some ways to cheese my way by. I was quite impressed at how far I was able to get in hard mode with, like, no grinding, just committing to the story. I guess I did a couple missions along the way, but almost no grinding. Just tunnel visioning the story. I am getting drenched in a layer of sweat, and I don't know why. It feels like I've just been exercising, and, like, I need to take off my shirt immediately. I'm not gonna do that here. I'll hop in the shower after this. But I'm starting to get a layer of sweat on me, and I don't know why. But anyway, I could not for the life of me get past Sephiroth's damage check, unless I got really lucky with the roulette of that game and got invincibility right at the time that he's gonna unleash the his super move that damage checks me. So I wasn't all that impressed with Crisis Core about that, because I felt like, hey, you know, he might be one-shotting me with his attacks, but I have the skill here to be dodging those attacks and be slowly whittling away at him. I should be able to win here. It didn't let me. It damage checked me. So I had to take the game out of hard mode and play on normal mode, and I had to beat the game that way, because unless I took time to grind, I couldn't beat the damage check. It's like that with Xenosaga here, where if you are going through a really, really tough boss and finding a way with strategy to be able to come out on top, then you should be able to see it through, especially after you've put like 30, 40 minutes into a boss, instead of it just being like, whoop, there's a damage check at the end. Oh, you got to this point while being underleveled? Sucks for you. We've decided you don't get to play any further here because we're damage checking you. I hate damage checks in video games. It just punishes the people that have been trying the hardest to get through at a weaker strength by saying, no, you're not allowed. You have to be stronger. Like, video games should allow you to get through at whatever strength if you have a good enough strategy, I feel like. You know, obviously not whatever strength in a turn-based, level-based game. Whatever strength in, say, an action game where you can dodge things. But you know what I'm getting at. Where it's like, if you have a good enough strategy and can get through everything but the damage check, you should be able to beat the boss. Instead of the boss being like, oh yeah, we've decided that you don't get to win here because you don't do enough damage yet. Have you put in all this effort? So, yeah, exactly. That's damage checks in video games. I hate damage checks in video games. There's not a lot of video games that do damage checks because I think developers realize that it's stupid. But this game did damage checks. Crisis Core did damage checks. I'm gonna have to head off. Sorry, I wanted to stay till the end of the review and see the opening for the second game, but I gotta sleep now. And yeah, with the way I'm feeling, I don't think I'm gonna be booting up the opening of the second game here. I'm probably gonna head off now as well. Gotta get going in the day. Enjoy your stream. Ban Xenosaga. I'm gonna talk about the thing that I hated the most about the gameplay in general, but the boss battles especially, where it was a really big issue. And then I'm gonna wrap things up and go to bed myself. So I usually don't mind games where the mechanics that you have access to, the boss has access to. This is an instance where I really hated it in terms of boosting. So as a reminder, boosting was a system where you have like those points and you can choose to insert your turn at this point. Like, if you're not currently on the board, you can insert your turn, like, as the immediate next one. And that was a great way to be like, hey, I'm struggling here. I don't want the boss to be acting on that immediate next turn. I need one turn before the boss acts. Let's boost this character. And now they get a turn. And now I can adapt and improvise here. So that was a really cool way to take what was already established and use a resource of yours to change things up and strategize around that. I quite liked the boosting system. Trouble is, the bosses could boost too. So, damn, let's say you're at a point where your characters can't eat one more hit, and you think you have turns here. It's showing that, like, the turn order here is Cosmos, Shion, Jr., you're good. so you get like one attack because it's the crit turn or it's the boost turn and you really want to make use of that. The moment you touch the boss is like, oh, I'm boosting now. I wipe your team. Like, friggin' what the hell? And the amount of times that bosses were boosting and screwing me. Like, I don't mind if you show that the bosses have a whole bunch of turns queued up. Like, that's information I as the player have, and I can strategize around that. I use, like, my own boost to, like, try and navigate around that. But when you have the boss that is able to act randomly, the game is telling you the information of, oh, this character of yours goes, then this character of yours goes, then this character of yours goes. And sometimes the boss will just randomly decide, you know what? No, screw you. I'm acting right now because you hit me once. Oh, you healed? I'm deciding to boost now. I don't think that boosting is a mechanic that bosses should have had access to. Just because, like, you make plans around something, and then bosses are like, nope, screw those plans. We're gonna absolutely destroy you. Don't trust anything. We'll act when we feel like acting. I really didn't like that. And not only that, but the boss's boosts had priority over yours. So, like, let's say you already boosted a character this turn, and like to act next, and then you hit the boss with the currently acting character. If the boss decides to boost, it overrides your characters, and the boss goes next instead of the character you had already boosted with. So it doesn't even go into a queue. Like, you cannot override boss's boosted attacks. It doesn't go into a queue so that if you boosted first, then like the boss's boosted turn comes after your boosted character's turn. No, just freaking your boosted character's turn goes to the Shadow Realm, I guess, and the boss just decides, that's my turn now. It is such bullshit. And it's one of the most frustrating things to deal with. I really hated that mechanic. Actually, now I'll stay to the end of the review. So bosses became main characters. Yeah, basically. Like, I don't think it's the worst mechanic I've seen in a video game. I still think that my least favorite mechanic in a video game might be Dark Souls 2. Every time you lose a little bit of your maximum health. I despise that with a passion. But this, I really despise that. Just no indication that's gonna happen. It just happens sometimes. Even when you've already queued up boost, the boss just decides, you know what? I don't think you should have that turn. That turn's actually mine now. So, not quite. Sort of. I mean, sorta. Except you don't have any indication how many, like, charges the boss has for boosting. You have no idea when the boss is gonna do it. They just do it sometimes. So imagine in Octopath Traveler, you're facing Galdera or something, and Galdera does this attack that changes the turn order, and you see the bar at the top where the turn order suddenly changes. Well, now you have leeway. You know that that's coming up. The next turn, the turn order is going to be different, and you can act around that. Like, that's a little bit of leeway. So, you know, something like Octopath Traveler, a boss changes the turn order. You have time to strategize around that and be like, ooh, that turn order is a bit harder. I gotta strategize around that now. In this game, you act and the boss will just be like, you know, it's my turn now. I might not have been on like the turn tracker down there, but I decide it's my turn now. So you think you have the leeway to get an extra attack in, or I'm really low. If I do one little heal, then I'll be able to heal one more time before the boss actually attacks. And the boss will just randomly decide, you know what? I'm not on that chart, but I decide I want to act now. And then they just completely fuck you. It is unreal. So, you know, I don't mind video games a lot of the time where bosses have some of the tools that the player does to even the playing field and be like, ooh, that's spicy. The boss can do things that I can do. But when the things that I can do that the boss can do are act randomly with zero notice, zero heads up, it just happens like, you know, here's your 3 characters in a row, and the boss just decides, oh, I'm gonna hit you guys with a big AoE attack out of nowhere. Yep, the boss will sometimes just decide, oh, it's actually my turn now. The game didn't say that it was my turn before this point, but I have just decided next turn is my turn now. Randomly, all the time. It happened very frequently. So I really didn't like that. I guess one more small thing to say about the bosses towards the end. Like, that was my biggest complaint, is the whole bosses boosting. why the hell was Albedo tougher than the actual final boss? Like, was the actual final boss just like a generally decently designed boss, and every other boss was just, you know, a little bit more bullshit? It felt a bit anticlimactic. I think that's everything I want to say about the bosses now. That's probably my full review. If I missed anything, I can put it in the description or pinned comment on YouTube there. That's cringe. I agree. It very much is. I really hope that Xenosaga 2 doesn't have that. So, yeah, if I missed anything, was the second phase longer than against Albedo? It might have been. I need to look at the post-battle timer. I did spend a lot of time in the true final boss just building up a safety net that I didn't even need, as it turned out. Didn't even need that safety net. Also, the safety net was erased at the end of the battle anyway, so it's not like it mattered, but, you know. So, I do still want to play through the Xenosaga trilogy before the next Xeno game comes out, but I'm not in a rush to be playing through 1, 2, 3, like back to back to back. There's other games I want to play. I get busy with other things. I need to pace games that I play as part of series out a little bit, you know, pace myself, get a little bit of excitement for the next game, not burn myself out going from one game to another to another. And in this case, after playing Xenosaga 1, I think that's especially true. So, I'm definitely not starting Xenosaga 2 anytime this year yet. There's a good chance I'll probably do it sometime next year. If there's a time where there aren't a whole lot of games coming out that I'm interested in, I have some time in my schedule, and I'm like, oh, this seems like a good time to wedge in Xenosaga 2. Then I'll wedge in Xenosaga 2. I don't have a planned date for it, it's just when I have time, when I feel up to it, and it's like, oh, well, sure, let's do Xenosaga 2 now. So it's probably not going to be for a while, but there's a good chance I'll do it next year, and then we'll see what comes of it, and then we'll actually get to like some real meat of the story probably, so. I will do Xenosaga 2 on this channel eventually. Just don't expect it right around the corner. Like, it's not going to be high on my priority list to do right after this. I gotta take a breather, I gotta take some time. And I'll get to Xenosaga 2 when I have time, and I feel like it. And hopefully the game is better than this one, because I didn't like this one. And I'm starting to wonder if this is why Xenosaga 2 didn't perform all that well, because a bunch of people played Xenosaga 1 and were like, let's not get the next one. And then maybe that's why the series wasn't doing as well. I don't know. That's a potential guesstimate. Got some Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon music here. Wonder what the level cap is in this game, if it is 99. Being low to mid-30s by the end of the game does seem kind of low for a RPG here. I mean, to each their own in terms of how they handle levels there. Didn't receive as much sales, the reception wasn't quite as high. I don't know. And then they had to wrap things up with Xenosaga 3. I'm sniffling my... I'm gonna go get some cold medicine, grab something to drink, and then go to bed. So, because there isn't another stream of this game, you're also not gonna see the finished Hallowland trophy during this series. So I guess I am gonna have to plug Hallowland. Next weekend is Hallowland. And when watching this on YouTube after the fact, it will have already happened. Hallowland 2025. So if you want to see some of the spooky games coming up here, like Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus, freaking the next Telltale Walking Dead game that I have to play, another DLC of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the DLC of Bloodborne, plus a Mario Kart event, then check out the Mega Land 2025 playlist, where I'll have this star painted. Here will be our spooky trophy, essentially. I'll get this all glued together, and we'll have a cool Halloween-themed red, orange, purple-colored Mario Kart trophy with some Halloween themes. Also, you'll probably see me in my full Luigi Ghostbusters cosplay, because apparently this Halloween LAN event has a costume contest. So I figure, oh, let's just go on like full cosplay there. So you'll see me very quite dressed up for that. But for now, Xenosaga is concluded. Xenosaga Episode 1 is concluded. There's still a lot of story to go. But I'm gonna chill out from this for a while and focus on some more immediate stuff that's going on this channel, like Hallowland 2025 next week. And then the 24-hour Cherry Stream 13 Extra Life 2025 in about 1 month from now. A little bit under 1 month from now. I've got upcoming events to worry about. I can't worry about Xenosaga 2 right now. But I'll worry about it one day. And will do there. Appreciate everyone who stopped by and hung out here. I hope you at least enjoyed watching me play Xenosaga, because I didn't have the most fun playing it. I'm still glad that I experienced that. You know, it's not like it was a waste of time or anything. I am glad that I got to experience that, and now I can say that, you know, I've played Xenosaga 1, and I know what it's like. But I would not play it again. I own it physically. I don't know if that's a game that I could see myself physically popping into my PlayStation 2 and trying to play through. Because I feel like if I tried to play it on native hardware without save states, I would rage. I would lose my freaking mind. So, this game will sit pretty on my shelf. I don't know if it's ever going to my PS2. I don't think I want to do that. And anyway, until next time, take care, and see ya.